This is the new 35mm f1.2 for the Nikon Z mount. I'm going to talk to you about some of its new features. I've also taken some sample images that I'll go through, and I would also like to show you how it's going to join the existing 1.2, 50mm and 85mm lenses. When it comes to the exterior design of the 35mm 1.2, the first thing you'll notice is a very large and easy to control manual focusing ring. Behind that, you'll then have a lens control ring that can be assigned to different settings, such as aperture, exposure compensation, and also ISO. On the lens, you also then have two lens function buttons, which again can be customized to a feature of your choice, and these can be customized in the camera's main menu. It's an 82mm filter thread, and it also has a closest focusing distance of 30 centimeters. When it comes to coatings on the 35mm, you'll find the meso coating, the nano crystal coating, and the arneo coating. All of these become really useful when it comes to shooting with backlit situations where ghosting and flare might be an issue for the lenses, and also give you a more real-world looking shot. The weight of the 35mm f1.2 is 1,060 grams, and you'll also find that there's 11 aperture blades in the 35. That means it's going to give you incredibly rounded bokeh and give you really good depth of field control. You'll find that the 35mm 1.2 is very similar to the 50mm 1.2 in terms of size and also style when it comes to what the lenses will look like and what their functions are. So if you already have a 51.2, the 35 will sit really nicely against that 50. The 85mm, it does look a little bit different to the 35, it's a lot chunkier, but given the different focal lengths, and also still has the same level of functions, so the same manual focusing ring and lens control ring. So again, should work really nicely as a set of f1.2 lenses. I've been able to shoot with the 35mm f1.2 for the past couple of days now here in Iceland, and it's not necessarily thought of as a traditional landscape lens. You might think of something like a 14-30 or a 14-24 for those ultra wide landscapes, but the 35mm focal length is incredibly good for things like documentary, reportage, and also just being able to use that to capture the environment around you. So that's what I've been doing, shooting differently with this 35mm. Also making use of that maximum aperture, being able to shoot at f1.2 to really create a shallow depth of field in a traditional landscape style shot that you don't normally see, because you're normally shooting at the exact opposite, at f8 or f11, to create massive amounts of depth of field. And I actually really enjoyed the experience of using this lens. When wide open at f1.2, it's incredibly sharp and still allows me to pick out the area that I want to be nice and sharp, and then everything around the area is nicely, softly blurred, and the rendition of the bokeh and the depth of field on this lens looks really impressive. I've also been lucky enough to be able to use the 35mm to shoot the Northern Lights. That f1.2 aperture means that there's going to be less noise whether I'm shooting stills, time-lapse, or video. I've certainly enjoyed spending my time with the 35mm f1.2 over the past couple of days, and it's definitely not the traditional focal length that I would take to somewhere like this in Iceland. I generally always carry something like a 14-24 for those ultra-wide landscape shots. But one thing that I have really liked to do on this lens is make use of that f1.2 aperture. Just being able to separate the foreground, the background, have a subject that's nice and sharp, has allowed me to shoot Iceland in a completely different way than I have done before. So I've been really happy with what I've captured on this when it comes to the stills and the time-lapse that I've done. And I think overall it's a really nice, incredibly sharp, even when wide open at f1.2 lens. And I know that a lot of you are going to be happy with adding this lens to your camera bag. There will be a BTS video that will be released about how we filmed this, so keep an eye out for that video. But hopefully you found this useful, and this 35mm 1.2 is a lens that you're going to enjoy using as well.